Bianca Belair deserves better. Andrade takes his rightful place in the main event, and is Karrion Kross turning face? Let's check that out and more with things WWE and AEW told us. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Fans were shocked when WWE announced releases after already having made several cuts. Aleister Black and most shockingly Braun Strowman were among those let go. Braun was a Universal Champion less than a year ago, while Black had just re-debuted on SmackDown. He had taken out Big E with a black mask, costing him the IC title with all signs pointing to a feud. Also, there have been reports suggesting more releases may be on their way. This news has been accompanied by rumblings of Vince McMahon preparing WWE for a sale, most likely to NBC. Reports suggest WWE would be worth anywhere between $2 to $4 billion, and trimming the fat to make the company look more valuable would only drive up its price. WWE and NBC have a pre-existing relationship, with the WWE network being handed over to Peacock. While these rumors are muted for the time, all of WWE's activity points to a company being primed for a sale. With Vince McMahon turning 76 in August, there is a possibility he is looking for one last payday. At WrestleMania 37, Bianca Belair bested Sasha Banks to win the SmackDown Women's title. It was a thrilling bout driven by emotion, and even though Banks lost, there were no true losers as both made history. Expectations were high for Bianca as champion. On paper, she had all the tools to be a major player. Her first feud as champion has come against Bayley, someone she worked with briefly on the road to Mania. Unfortunately, the build for their feud has been disappointing. On SmackDown, Belair made her way to the ring and said Bayley's laughter has been getting to her week after week. She spoke about the disrespect she felt and challenged Bayley to a match at Hell in a Cell. Bayley accepted before laughing hysterically, with her picture taking over every screen of the Thunderdome. Building a championship feud around someone's laughter is ridiculous. Why not talk about the fact that Bayley wants to win the gold at Hell in a Cell because she lost it at the same pay-per-view to Banks? Why not lean into the fact that she couldn't even get a match at WrestleMania? Either of those reasons would be far more compelling than whatever WWE has been doing with Belair and Bayley so far. When Randy Orton and Matt Riddle began to interact on Raw, fans knew it could be something special. Riddle had mostly floundered since making the jump to the red brand. Orton, meanwhile, was coming off a lengthy stint in the main event and needed something to keep him relevant. His straight man placed perfectly with Riddle's over-the-top persona, making them the ideal pairing for Raw's Threadbare Tag Division. Weeks ago, Riddle had taken on Xavier Woods that ended with Riddle picking up the win with an RKO. Then on Raw, when Orton took on Xavier Woods himself, with Riddle at ringside, Orton picked up Woods and hit him with the Bro Derek to win. The angle of having Riddle and Orton constantly trying to one-up each other has potential. Their pairing feels fresh and exciting, something that cannot be said for the rest of Raw, and in a matter of weeks, RKBro has become the best thing about the red brand. Their feud with New Day has been great up to this point, but once that's over, WWE should consider having them hunt down the Raw Tag Team Champions. So WWE had nothing for King Corbin and Nakamura to do, so it decided to have them feud. That's certainly not the worst idea, but their storyline has been downright confusing. Nakamura is the face, while Corbin has continued to be everyone's most hated bad guy. The feud has revolved around Nakamura having stolen Corbin's crown, yet fans are supposed to root for the King of Strong Style. Let's look at the events of this feud. One wrestler stole something that belongs to another. He then brought in another guy to play his entrances for him on the guitar, and this guitarist often helps him pick up wins. In pretty much any case, the thief would be the heel, not the face. Corbin has been stolen from, and has to deal with Nakamura and Boog, so why exactly should fans root for Shinsuke? This storyline has gotten everything backwards, and the insertion of Boogs has felt unnecessary. There's a chance he will overshadow Nakamura, and end up as an Elias knockoff, which will just render all of this pointless. NXT started with in-ring action. Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly, and Pete Dunne waged war in a triple threat to determine the #1 contender to Karrion Kross' NXT title. The bout never reached a definitive conclusion as Adam Cole blasted all three, ending the bout in a no contest. Later, Cole got up in Kross' face trying to weasel his way into getting a title shot. Instead, Kross said he would take on O'Reilly, Dunne, Gargano, and Cole at the next TAKEOVER in a fatal 5-way. The war of words between both men was fun to see, even if it hurt Kross' almost otherworldly aura. If for some reason WWE wants Kross to drop the gold, he could do it here without factoring into the finish. But what does this mean for his character? We have seen powerful, dominant heels, but this arrogance is what the greatest anti-heroes in WWE are made of. What champion heel would willingly put his title on the line against 4 other men? More importantly, why would fans boo or hate a guy who would do that? Whether WWE is planned for it or not, Kross may be treated as a face when crowds come back. Most fans assumed Andrade would find his way to AEW after his release from WWE. On Dynamite, Tony Schiavone introduced the newest analyst for AEW Rampage, Mark Henry. The world's strongest man teased he had more left in the tank in regards to a match before the focus shifted to Vicky Guerrero, who announced the arrival of her latest signing, Andrade. He made his way to the ring and stated he wasn't just the face of Latinos, he was the face of AEW. Fans were left chanting his name as Andrade felt every bit the marquee star he should have been in WWE. It doesn't seem like he'll spend much time in the mid-card, as the intention to be the face of AEW means he will start mixing it up with the best. He will then finally take his rightful place in the main event. In case you haven't been watching SmackDown for the last 9 months, Roman Reigns is the greatest thing about pro wrestling. The Tribal Chief served the latest example of his brilliance on SmackDown, opening the show with Paul Heyman, stating he was okay with the Usos challenging the Mysterios for the tag belts. He then said they better win, with each word dripping with menace. It immediately made the tag titles feel more important. After the Usos lost, they felt the ire of Roman, who told them to fix things immediately, which led to a rematch in the main event with the titles on the line. As Dominic headed to the top rope in the hopes of picking up the win, Reigns attacked the father-son duo. He choked out Dominic with the guillotine as the Usos watched. Jimmy left the ring but could not convince Jey to follow, as he stood faithfully by Roman's side. The Universal Champion delivered a barrage of rights and a powerbomb to Dominic as the show went off the air. In one night, not only did Roman shine a massive spotlight on the SmackDown tag belts, he furthered his storyline with the Usos, made Dominic feel like a sympathetic babyface, and may have gotten his next opponent in Rey Mysterio, who is the head of the table for his own family. Roman Reigns continues to be the best thing in pro wrestling. And these were things WWE and AEW told us. Hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.